And reminder, hold that thought. Of course, if you're listening, you know this is KG and the Fifth Ward Wildcat podcast. I'm KG.
On the Fifth Ward Wildcat.
So going back to your thought.
And with that sharing of funding, because from a person that I talked to a couple of years back when everyone was talking about revenue sharing as far as bowls, there's a payout to the school in the conference the first year. Then there is a then it's divvied up between the rest of the schools, and it's paid out over a 5-year term. Now, once that money starts coming in, that's money that's pretty much guaranteed unless the bowl goes belly up. And you know what you're getting as far as your general athletic scholarship fund, is coming in. And I would have to believe that once A&M, at least when they were thinking about it, they were looking at it as, yeah, we can go and compete. Right now, I'm not concerned about going and winning the whole thing right now. We got to get in, get our feet wet. But the main thing that's driving that Aggies situation, you and I both see it as egos, and they're ready to move on. They see now that the brand is out for the brand. It's not about the conference. It's not about anybody else, and nobody's tied to anybody. A&M is not tied to Texas. Texas is not tied to A&M. So now it's about, I'm getting mine. I'm gonna find a way to get mine, and I'm tired of listening and following you down the road.
But so you agree that it's ego-driven?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Because it's gotten to that point now. It's almost got to the point of personal.
Because, well, I think that's part of it as well. Because A&M school song
tells you point blank.
Tells you about the disdain for University of Texas. It's in the song, so it is ingrained in the culture of Texas A&M University. So that's 100 years plus tradition that they have for not liking the University of Texas. That's a rivalry, that's tradition, all those things. So they just want to put all that aside
and move down the road.
Move down the road and go to the SEC. I'm turning it around.
Well, I'm going to ask this question, and I've heard this over the weekend. I've done at least 3 nighttime shows. Do you think it's youth-driven? Elder statesmen, guys that are my age, like in their 50s and 60s now, that watch the traditions get built up to where they are? Or do you think it's your age group that's 30s and 40s, where the guys, just getting out of school, and they're just tired of dealing with the Longhorns?
Probably my age and younger. The older folks, I would say no. But even then, the older alums, older Aggies, going to SEC won't impact them because they have their money. They've made their money. They can make those trips, go to all the events because they have the time to do it. Folks my age and younger who either are trying to build up the careers or get their businesses off the ground, get them started, or looking for jobs, they can't make these trips. They can, especially on a whim. They can't just go over to Gainesville for the weekend to watch the Aggies play Florida. They can't do that. So it's ironic that I think the younger generation who's in favor of the move may not be able to make the trip.
And you and I have been down this road, traveling on the weekends, especially during basketball, early basketball season and late football. We've seen a lot of banners on fans and are headed over the SEC country. And folks, I'm going to tell you, they come in droves. I've been down to Death Valley for a day game, but on my bucket list is to go down there for a night game. Because when they've had all day, when the SEC team and family and alumni and football fans have had all day to get ready for a night game, it is something to see from what I've told.
All right, and tying it to basketball, because that's my main focus. The A&M's women's basketball games, the home games. Most of those games, most people who attend those games at Reed Arena are the older Aggies.
Right.
Very few students, or not as many students, attend those games unless it's going against Baylor or Oklahoma, one of the...
Texas.
Well, definitely Texas. But even then, the rivalry games, those matchups, the students come to those. So, I interviewed Gary Blair, Aggies women's head coach. Articles on my website, HoustonReview.com, for you to read. You can see some of his comments and thoughts on the Aggies. I think impending move to the Southeast Conference, I think it's a done deal. So it's a question of the voting when it becomes official. I think yesterday I saw that it's going to be within 21 days when everything will be finalized. It's going to happen. Basketball-wise, it means the Tennessee Lady Vols will be coming to Reed Arena every 2 years or so, hopefully. So basketball, get to be good for that.
Yeah, Georgia will be coming down.
Yeah, don't even compare. No offense to Coach Landers and Georgia, up-and-coming program.
I had to throw that in.
But Tennessee, Tennessee. Even LSU and first year new coach Nikki Caldwell, who I'm going to say it on the podcast.
Here we go, folks.
Who I admire a great deal, and I have of course Nikki Caldwell, but.
She can coach.
She can coach.
And she can recruit.
And definitely she can recruit. I think it's a great hire. It was a great hire by LSU to hire her as a head coach. So women's basketball won't obviously if you're adding the national champion, you're not going to be falling off.
Oh no.
To a basketball program.
No.
So, but what do you think? Your thoughts on people who say the Aggies on football recruiting? Well, this first things first.
What you've done?
How much? Where do you see the Aggies in the hierarchy of the SEC? Compared to Bama, LSU, and Florida.
All right. You just mentioned 3 schools, and I'm gonna throw LSU in there too.
No, that's what I said. Bama, LSU, and Florida.
Okay. Along with Auburn, since they picked up one. You're talking about 4 schools that have won championships in the last 10 years out of the SEC.
Last 5. All 4 of them won twice, I think.
Folks, pay attention to that, because everybody else in that conference is second tier. What you have to do now is you have to find your niche as far as recruiting. A&M is pretty much a regional type recruitment situation. That's pretty much what the Big 12 is. It's not a national type recruiting conference. It's a lot of regional. UT can do that only because of their brand, but A&M is a regional. What you've done more than anything else, and it's going to be interesting how this all falls out, you've opened the door now for more SEC schools to step into your backyard. You already losing.
But is that true? And I say that in this, and I heard that earlier, and I've heard it a few times. We know the talent in Houston, the Houston area, and say Texas. So, and the other people around the country know that as well. So why wouldn't Mississippi State, Georgia already be recruiting kids from here anyhow?
What you're looking at down the road is the second tier, third tier schools getting more of an opportunity of getting more kids out of the area. Now your talent starts to dilute. What you have to do now is make inroads into what you have already here in the state. You have to make inroads into, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and Louisiana, which is your border states. And you have to build up a very solid base to where kids won't just up and change, but what it does is it still opens up the door, for the Georgias, Mississippi States, the South Carolinas. They're starting now to hold on to their kids in the state. You also will open up Arkansas. Yeah, they're still getting kids out of this area, but they're mostly getting kids out of East Texas, up north, around there, Panhandle. A&M needs to build up a solid recruitment platform here in the state, because once you open that door up, everybody's playing on TV. They're playing in the SEC, #1 football conference in the country. You're playing in front of a packed house every week, not just sometimes. you've got a stacked deck against you. Now what you have to do is, like I said earlier, you got to find your niche. You got to find out where you fit in at with where you are placed at, because you will be in the West. And the West consists of LSU, Arkansas, who else is it? Mississippi and Mississippi State.
No, I want to say Alabama's in the West, because Florida's in the East, and they are meeting in the title games.
Okay,
yeah.
All right. And Alabama, you know that they are a national recruiting program. They recruit out of the Houston area. They recruit out of the Dallas area. Right now, A&M has got to find a way to solidify what they have and not lose, and start and pick up, find an end grain, find a way to get in somebody else's back door.